Welcome to BWTM News and Entertainment. We're following up on a story that happened in January regarding a race relations officer who worked for the Metropolitan Police who got tasered by the Metropolitan Police. So let me get straight to the story. Police officer charged with assault over tasering of Judah Abundi in the face. The police officer involved in an incident in which a race relations advisor was tasered in the face has been charged with assault. PC Claire Bodie has been summoned to appear before magistrates in Taunton, charged with assaulting Judah Abundi in January this year. PC Brody, 47, will appear in court on August the 14th, charged with a common assault contrary to Section 39 of the Criminal Justice Act 1988 and an IPCC statement said. An independent police complaint commission investigation concluded in June, and a file of evidence was sent to the Crown Prosecution Services, said the IPCC statement. The CPS decided that there was sufficient evidence and it was in the public interest to charge the officer. The IPCC began an investigation after the police force voluntarily referred a complaint about the incident during which a 63-year-old man was tasered, a spokesperson added. The officer was filmed by a neighbour of the 63-year-old Mr. Abundi in an incident in Colson Road, Easton, on the morning of January the 14th this year. The 8-minute video sparked controversy at the time and led to the setup of the Justice for Judah campaign in St. Paul's and Easton. The Independent Police Complaints Commission started an investigation into the incident, which saw Mr. Abundi arrested and initially charged with assaulting a police officer, although the charge was dropped 2 days later. A spokesperson from Avon and Somerset Police said that the force could not comment for legal reasons on the development. The IPCC has confirmed that one officer will face criminal charge of assault following an incident involving a 63-year-old man in Bristol in January, said the spokesperson. Now criminal proceedings have started. This prevents us from commenting further on the circumstances surrounding this matter, other than to reiterate that we're continuing to fully cooperate with the IPCC as their investigations progress. Chief Constable Andy Marsh has made clear that from the start of this investigation that we will discuss the matter fully and publicly once the investigation concluded, she added. A spokesperson for Avon and Somerset Police confirmed that PC Brody has not been suspended but remains on restricted duties, a position she has been since the IPCC began its investigations in January. Now, I don't know the legal implications, but I mean, the video's all over the internet, and to be honest, I mean, it's there for everyone to see. So they've brought this criminal or this complaint to the IPCC, and they can see for themselves that it's in contrary to their use of using the taser and why they use it. And this is also someone who is supposedly part of race relations within the Metropolitan Police. So when you're tasering somebody who's meant to be doing something to bring the community together, it's clearly not very good. So this is one thing I'm glad to see, that this is being brought to justice, and I hope justice is served in the matter. Moving on, yes, this race relations in the UK seem to be, I won't say an all-time low, but it's not very good. Moving on from that story, I have another story to talk to you about, and this is regarding an MP, a member of Parliament, a politician, a Conservative politician by the name of Anne-Marie Morris. And she's going to get suspended by Theresa May, the current Prime Minister, for using the N-word. Now, bear in mind, these politicians, before they make their speeches on television or they say what they say, usually they prepare what they have to say before they say it, and they've got people overlooking it and reading it over and over again. So there's no mistake about what this individual said. It was, as far as I'm concerned, it was premeditated, and it meant exactly what it meant. But anyway, let's hear what she's got to say, and I'll tell you the backstory anyway. Theresa May has ordered the Conservative Party's chief whip to suspend an MP who used the N-word at an event during a discussion about Brexit. Anne-Marie Morris, the MP for Newton Abbot in Devon, said sorry for causing offence with her use of the word after a string of opposition politicians accused her of racism. However, the Prime Minister decided to suspend the whip from Morris after saying the remarks were shocking and unacceptable. The row broke out after Morris, who was recorded telling an event. Now, I'm sure there will be many people who will challenge that, but my response and my request is to look at the detail. It isn't all doom and gloom. Now, we need to get the real nigger in the woodpile, which is, in 2 years, what happens if there's no deal. Let me repeat that for you again. Now, I'm sure there will be many people who'll challenge that, but my response and my request is that if you look at the detail, it isn't all doom and gloom. Now we get to the real nigger in the woodpile, which is, in 2 years, what happens if there's no deal. I don't know what a nigger in the woodpile is, and I'll probably find out what it is at some point and come back to you about it. But it's pretty much who speaks like that, unless you are of that sort of a person that would freely use that sort of language every day, and it's like water for duck's back. And a person in that position of power has a responsibility as a member of Parliament. So it's not good for the Conservatives. Her remarks, recorded by the Huffington Post at the East India Club, caused an immediate backlash, with opposition politicians calling on May to withdraw the whip from Morris. Within an hour of the comments emerging, Morris had issued a statement of apology. The comments were totally unintentional. I apologise unreservedly for any offence caused, she said in an email. The comment was unintentional. You opened your mouth, you said what you said, so you said it by accident. Okay. About 3 hours later, May released a statement saying Morris was being disciplined and a whip suspended. I am shocked to hear these remarks, which are completely unacceptable, May said. I immediately asked the chief whip to suspend the party whip. Language like this has absolutely no place in our politics or in today's society. A Conservative source said that May had initially been unaware of the remarks because she had been in with the Australian leader and then in the House of Commons. Morris is likely to carry on voting with the whip, but the move notionally reduces May's fragile majority of just 6 if both Conservative and DUP MPs are included. Politicians from across the spectrum expressed their disgust at Morris's words, including Tony MP Heidi Allen, whom said an apology was not enough and the party should show zero tolerance towards racism. Tulip Siddiq, the Labour MP for Hampstead and Kilburn, called in a tweet for the Prime Minister to take disciplinary action. I'm appalled by this. I assume Prime Minister will take appropriate action. Tim Farron, the outgoing leader of the Liberal Democrats, was one of the first to call for Morris to lose the Tory whip. This disgusting comment belongs in the era of the Jim Crow laws and has no place in our Parliament, he said. The Conservative Party should withdraw the whip from Anne-Marie Morris, and they should do it today. Every hour they leave her in place is a stain on them and the so-called compassionate conservatism they supposedly espouse. I'm totally shocked that this person represents the good nature and good people of Newton Abbot. Even if she misspoke, that this is the nastiest thing I've heard an MP utter since Lord Dixon Smith uttered the same awful phrase a few years ago. Caroline Lucas, co-leader of the Green Party, also called for the Tories to remove the whip. Appalling. Should have the whip removed immediately. No place in politics for racism. Full stop. Andrew Gwynn, Labour's campaign coordinator, said the Morris's comments were outrageous and unacceptable. While the Conservative Party has tabled a debate on Wednesday to apparently discuss and condemn abuse of candidates in the general election, these comments prove their hypocrisy, he said. Theresa May once spoke about changing the Tories' nasty party tag. If she's not serious about that, she will admit it's not enough for the Tories to investigate and will apologise and act immediately. If that means withdraw the whip, then that's what they should do. Earlier this year, Morris distanced herself from comments made by her electoral agent and partner, Roger Kendrick, who told the hustings event that the crisis in education was due to entirely to non-British born immigrants and their high birth rates. In response, Morris told Devon Live, "I don't share the views expressed by Roger Kendrick." One person at the Brexit event contacted The Guardian because he was so shocked about what he heard Morris say. "I attended in a professional capacity with a colleague. I work in financial service and was there to hear about the report of enhanced equivalence being published. I was taken aback after hearing such vile and offensive phrase being used by someone in public life who should be campaigning against such language being used, not dispensing it herself." So, there you have it. Now, race relations in the UK, it's not great. It's not great. And this person, I suspect, well, she says she's distanced herself from comments before, but whoever advised her to make that statement, she did it herself. Then you know what's going to happen if you make these comments. I don't know why these people do these things. They know they're going to get reprimanded for it, but they still go ahead about it anyway. Now, the story I'm hearing, I understand, is that Miss Anne-Marie Morris is going to get suspended, but she'll be back in 3 months. Now, if she's back in 3 months after making a statement like this, shame on the Conservatives. Absolute shame on the Conservatives. Okay, I want to go into another story here. This is our third story of the evening, and it's British TV and film industry pulls plug on black actors, says Kush Jumbo. Speaking to a Labour Arts Diversity Inquiry, the Good Wife actor says she repeatedly hit the exotic best friend ceiling when auditioning in the UK. Actor Kush Jumbo has accused the British television and film industry of pulling the plug on actors of colour, and she said repeatedly came up against the exotic best friend ceiling when auditioning for roles in the UK. Jumbo, best known for her roles in hit TV series The Good Wife and its spin-off The Good Fight, spoke at the evidence session for the Labour Party's inquiry into diversity in the arts about the failures of broadcasters to recognise the value of black and working class actors. Jumbo disputed that there was a brain drain of British actors of colour deciding to go to America, and said instead of this country literally pulling the plug, we were all just slipping through. She continued, "If there was work here, I would be working here. I would like nothing more than to be working in the film or on television in this country. I didn't go to America. I didn't run to America. I didn't even ask for America. I just took a play there, and suddenly everyone is telling me, 'You're so talented. Would you like 52 jobs?'" Jumbo described the joy when the script for her part as Lucia in The Good Wife came through. "And it was the first time I had it been specified black or mixed race or exotic best friend." She added, "There are so many years I can sit here hitting that best friend ceiling before I go over to Amazon, because they'll give me a role and they'll pay me for it. And because I write as well, I'm offered those opportunities as a writer, and it becomes less and less attractive to go back to the UK because you're coming back to nothing." Jumbo also addressed Samuel L. Jackson's recent criticism that British black actors were unfairly taking notes from black American actors and said it was purely down to the talent and training of British actors compared to American counterparts. Yeah, we're stealing their jobs. It's because we're better, and it's something to be proud of, Jumbo said, slamming her hand down on the table. Why aren't we trying to keep that here and encourage that and take over the whole world with it? Because we are the best, rather than let people slip through the net because we don't have anything to offer them. Jumbo, who is currently starring in Common in the National Theatre, said that the last television job she had before she went to America was ITV's detective show Vera, where she loved, but in all the seasons she had been the only person of colour on the set. You will have grit and determination, and you will just have to keep going. And you don't want to be angry, working class black person, because then nobody will want to listen to you, she said. The panel was chaired by Labour MP Gloria Di Piero, who said that there was a definite glass ceiling when it comes to the acting profession, and cited research of the London School of Economics showed only 10% of actors said that they came from working class backgrounds, and from the Sutton Trust that showed 42% of BAFTA winners came from fee-paying schools. Jumbo was born in Lewisham, the daughter of parents who were both psychiatric nurses, and said that it was only thanks to having gone to primary school, which introduced her to music and drama, that she fell in love with acting. She also directed criticism at the culture of drama schools, the place which had made her name, which made her give any thought of being mixed race, and had been made to feel negative about both race and her working class. It wasn't until I went to Central Drama School that I actually looked into the mirror and realised I was of colour, she said. I nearly left at the end of the first year because I felt so uncomfortable, so working class. I remember being told by the teacher how I was studying received punctuation with that accent was lazy, that South Londoners had lazy mouths and lazy accents. Jumbo was one of only 4 actors of colour in the year at Central School of Drama. My understanding of who I was became negative at drama school, and I really had to fight against that to finish, she added. Jumbo said that while there had been some improvements in the decade since she graduated, she still encountered the young people at drama school made her feel out of place because of their race and their class. She cited an example of one student she recently met who had been psychologically bullied out of Lamanda, a prestigious drama school, because he complained about another actor being blacked up as an Aboriginal in one of their school shows. The panel was made up of Deborah Williams, Executive Director, Creative Diversity Network, Lee Mason, a drama commissioner at Channel 4, John Cannon, a casting director at BBC Studios, Cassidy Chatterton, head of UK Theatre, David McCatterley, the chair of Stage Directors UK Diversity Working Party, and Labour MP Tracy Brabin. Williams, who created the diversity standard for the BIF and is now overseeing Project Diamond, the biggest project monitoring diversity across all areas of British broadcasting, said perception about the TV and theatre roles black actors can and should play needed changing. If you don't change your writers, if you don't change your directors, if you do not change your commissioners, and if you do not change where you go and look for people and stories, then you will not change and you will go to what your first port of call for talent is, she added. Okay, well, my thoughts on this. I went to an event about 3 years ago called Act for Change, and it was about this specific thing, and I spoke to one of the head people at ITV. Now, they're talking about diversity and reaching out and making a difference and making a change. Now, if you look at their board, everybody on the board, all high up within the TV industry, all the people are all high up. They're all Caucasian. Now, whilst this is okay, there's not looking for people of colour. There's nobody of colour high up in the upper echelons of television. And while that remains to be, then there cannot be diversity. How can you talk about diversity when you all look the same? You can't. When you all think the same. And how can you understand discrimination in that sense, and racism in that sense, and prejudice in that sense, when you're all looking after one another's backs? It cannot work possibly that way. So if there's going to be real change in the UK, if there's going to be real change, then the way you do that is not by putting a token person of color, not just black, Asian, but people, diverse people of color in positions of high authority. That's when the change will happen. Change won't happen with the middleman. And I've spoken to these people, these higher ups. They don't listen. They look at you, go, yeah. Their job's fine. Their job's fine. They don't understand it because they don't have to deal with it. And once you don't have to deal with something, out of sight, out of mind. So people keep banging. Only people of color will keep banging on the door, and people who are not of color keep listening and keep ignoring. So there needs to be somebody else. There needs to be a different face and a different ideology behind it. If there really is going to be change, okay, there's no point going to all these meetings. You go to all these meetings, people of color knocking the door, looking for an opportunity, and the people who answer the door are the same people who are continuing this stuff. So unless you're going to make the changes, the fundamental changes, it's either you're going to put people in or you're not going to put them in. Simple. So you're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. It's as simple as that. So you ask these people, are you part of the problem or are you part of the solution? Oh, it's not as simple as that. What do you mean it's not as simple as that? What do you mean it's not as simple as that? You start to select people of colour, not because they're people of colour, but because they're damn talented. Idris Elba, David Harewood, that's 2 already. There's so many black actors and black actresses. Or not even black and black actresses. Actresses and actors of colour. Why not select them? So like I said, you're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. Let's put these people on the spot, these directors, these big names, and ask them why. Why wouldn't it see more people of colour on the television? Why is it in these soap operas that anytime there's a person of colour, they're criminal? Why? So crime is only limited to people of colour. That's very biased, doesn't help. And people who are not of non-colour are all educated and all smart. Really? That's not how the way the world is. It's never about the colour of a person's skin, but it's the content of the heart. The colour doesn't do anything. It's the attitude and the intent. That's what makes a difference. So there's definitely a balance thing that needs to be sorted there. Whether people are going to do anything about it is, I don't know how it's going to change. But they're saying they're people in position to make changes. Well, this is it for BWTM news. When will people of colour be treated as equals? That's the question. And still I rise. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and leave your comments. We're out of here. Take care.